to start a new unit, that is electromagnetism. Now in IIT JEE mains point of view, we have around 10 chapters in electromagnetism, and out of the entire syllabus around 20 to 30% comes from electromagnetism. In advanced point of view, as I have explained previously, there are only 5 units. One is mechanics, other is thermodynamics and electromagnetism, modern physics and optics. Now if you are really looking for IIT JEE advanced paper to get into IITs, you must concentrate more on electromagnetism. Now the chapters that you have in electromagnetism are: first chapter that you have in electromagnetism is electrostatics. Second chapter that you have in electromagnetism is current electricity. Third chapter that you have is capacitors. Then fourth chapter that you have is RC circuits, then followed by thermal and chemical effects, followed by electric power. This is another chapter. And fifth chapter that you have is magnetic field. Then you will have magnetic force, torque, energy. Then there is classical magnetism. So you have classical magnetism, then followed by electromagnetic induction chapter. Then you have AC circuits. Then the last unit that you have is electromagnetic waves. Now in IIT JEE mains point of view, this is the most easiest question that comes in every paper and every entrance exam: calculation of magnetic field. We will use magnetic field calculation in this chapter as well as electromagnetic induction as well. But if you are learning EMI chapter here, this chapter is combination of all previous chapters. Whatever you have learnt previously, all these chapters except classical magnetism. Classical magnetism is related to bar magnets. This part alone is related to bar magnets. This part we will discuss separately. I will not mix. This is not there for IIT JEE advanced portion. It is there only for mains exam. So classical magnetism we are not going to do it along with this. We will do that separately. Depending upon we will see what can I do with that part. Now current, electricity and capacitors are almost similar. I don't say they are same, they are similar. So if you learn current, electricity properly, then you will be able to learn capacitors as well. So electrostatics is biggest of all. These two chapters will be similar, and using these two chapters you will be able to solve questions on RC circuits. Then for magnetic field, magnetic force, torque, energy, all these relations we will use once again in EMI. Now till here we will deal with DC circuits. DC circuits in the sense direct current. Current will have only one single direction in DC circuits. Now after this chapter we will enter into the AC part, and AC part is actually what we use in real life. So now in today's class, first I will give introduction to electromagnetism, then we will start electrostatics. So first I'll start with introduction. Why this chapter we are studying and why this unit we are studying. First we will see that, and then we will enter into the actual part of the chapter. Now first, to study electromagnetism you need to understand mainly two terms. Okay, what are those two terms? Are one is matter and other is radiation energy. Okay, you need to understand mainly two terms. One is matter and other is radiation energy. Okay, now first if you have to understand these two terms. Okay, if you have understood these two terms, then you will be able to understand why we are studying charge, why we are studying mass. Now what can you call as a matter particle? Means matter particle is a substance which is having mass. Okay, so now this matter particle is, okay, it occupies some volume. Now this matter particle, what you usually call as matter particle is, usually that particle that moves, okay, it occupies some amount of space, and usually that moves with speed less than speed of light, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Anything that moves with speed less than speed of light, you can call it as matter particle. And radiation energy moves with, okay, speeds close to, okay, radiation energy moves with speeds close to speed of light. Okay, so matter particle, it usually, it is an object which moves with speed less than speed of light. And radiation energy, what you can call as radiation energy means, you can call something as radiation energy provided if it is moving with speed, close to speed of light. Now to this matter particle, okay, there are two properties. Okay, for matter particle we will define two terms. One is mass and other is charge. Okay, for matter particle only we are defining mass and charge. Okay, radiation energy we don't usually talk of mass and charge. Okay, now coming to this mass, okay, you have two types of masses. Okay, one is called inertial mass, one is your inertial mass, and second is gravitational mass. Okay, in mass there are two types of masses, one is inertial mass and other is gravitational mass. Okay, that is your first property of matter particle. Your second property of matter particle is charge. Okay, in charge once again you have positive charge and negative charge. Okay, when this comes, how it comes we will see later. Okay, but if you are calling something as matter particle, okay, this is what you are supposed to understand. Okay, so it usually moves with speed less than speed of light, and for matter particles only we usually talk of mass and charge. Now to understand better, I think I might have explained in gravitation, but still once again I'll just remind. If you are writing F equal to ma, your acceleration is force by mass. Now here in this case, if m is more, acceleration is less. If m is less, acceleration is more. Okay, so here what is this mass is, this mass is inertial mass. What is this inertial mass doing is, inertial mass if it is more, it will reduce the acceleration. If inertial mass is less, it will increase the acceleration. Okay, so my point is inertial mass will try to oppose the motion. Okay, this is one kind of mass, and there is one more kind of mass, that is gravitational mass. Now when you are writing gravitational force for a body, if you have, for example, some star or planet is there, around this there is some satellite or planet moving. If it is star, this is planet. If this is planet, this is satellite. So if its mass is small m, if you consider force on this, your gravitational force g times m into m by r square, if you write it as m times a, m if it goes off, your acceleration is, here it is directly proportional to mass, this source mass. Here if you increase acceleration, mass will increase. You decrease acceleration, mass will decrease. Here the reason for acceleration of body is mass. So this is supporting, gravitational mass is supporting the motion. Here inertial mass is opposing the motion. Okay, so if here the mass is more, acceleration is getting reduced. Here if the mass is less, acceleration is increasing. Here in this case, if the mass is more, there will be more acceleration. Okay, now from principle of equivalence, which we will see later in gravitation, this inertial mass is equal to gravitational mass. Okay, so inertial mass and gravitational mass both are equal. Okay, but inertial mass, it will oppose motion, gravitational mass, it will support motion. Okay, I am just putting it in simple terms. Okay, this is not the complete story. Okay, right. So this is one property of matter particle. Okay, and coming to the second property of matter particle that you have is charge. Okay, now when charge comes, how charge comes, we will start studying in detail from electrostatics chapter. Okay, and for this matter particle, usually medium will be associated with it. Okay, right, medium will be there for matter particles. Okay, but when you take radiation energy, it is associated usually with vacuum, but it is also present in medium as well. But usually matter particles, medium will be there, and you need to even look at what is happening to the particles, mass or charge or force or field, anything that you define, you have to look at the influence of medium. And coming to radiation energy, okay, medium is, of course, it is to be looked upon, but still in radiation energy we will usually talk less about medium, but we will even do discussion about medium even in radiation energy. Okay, now this is your first part. Okay, so what is charge means, it is a part or terminology that is related to matter particle. Okay, so it is one of the property of matter particle. Okay, so studying about this charge is only our entire chapter ultimately. Okay, so now why we are studying electromagnetism, I will tell you. Now whenever you have mass, okay, whenever you have mass, this mass, what it will do is, it will produce gravitational field. Okay, if there is mass, it will produce gravitational field. So if you have a mass m like this, around this there is, okay, gravitational field. Okay, similarly if there is charge, okay, if there is charge, then two things are possible. If charge is at rest, it will produce electric field. Okay, E field means it is electric field. Okay, so it is electric field. If there is charge, there is electric field. Okay, now when this charge moves with some speed v like this, then what happens is, okay, this is charge in motion. Now in such a case, because of charge, it will produce electric field. Okay, moving charge will produce magnetic field. Okay, if I write this as magnetic field, okay, it is represented by B bar, electric field is represented by E bar. Okay, so normally we will define fields. Okay, for why you actually explain fields means, whenever you have two masses like this, for example, you will develop the idea of field to explain action at a distance forces. Okay, so if you have two charges like this, for example, and two masses like this, even though there is no connection, okay, between these 2 points there is no connection at all. Okay, you don't have any wire, you have nothing. Okay, this is just simply empty space. Still this will attract this mass, this body will attract this mass. Okay, so now what is the logic you say is, field of 2 causes force on 1. Okay, field of 2 causes force on 1, even in this case or in this case, in case of mass or charge. Similarly here, field of 1 causes force on, field of 1 causes force on 2. Okay, so here my point is, okay, you do some observation in physics. Okay, so you will observe something, okay, and to justify why that is happening, you bring the idea of field. Okay, so field definition, if you ask me, okay, what is the field means, okay, it is a mechanism which explains, okay, it is a mechanism which explains, okay, action at a distant forces, okay, action at a distance forces, okay. So even though when there is no connection, still there is some interaction happening between these two bodies, you say that there is some kind of field present between these two bodies. So now why am I discussing this is, okay, your field is the cause for force even in case of gravitation and even in case of your electromagnetic force, okay. So now what we observe is, okay, ultimately we observe only four basic forces. One is gravitational force. The forces that you have are, okay, gravitational force. Second type that you have are electromagnetic force, okay. Second type is electromagnetic force. Third one is strong forces and fourth one is weak forces, okay. So we'll talk about this at nuclear level. We'll talk of surface tension related force and all. They all come under strong and weak forces. Now the four forces that we see are these four basic forces. Out of this is caused by mass, and your electromagnetic force is caused by charge, okay. So you name anything, if you talk of tension, friction, all those are electromagnetic forces. Ultimately at molecular level if you go, ultimate reason for force is either mass or charge, okay. So in nuclear level you will talk of strong and weak forces, okay. Now to explain these forces, okay, this gravitational force, or let it be some electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force is combination of both electric as well as magnetic force. So to talk of this electromagnetic force, we will talk of both charge, charge at rest will produce electric field, charge in motion will produce magnetic field, okay. So field is the idea, okay. Now our observation, what we see is these forces. Now to explain these forces we bring the idea of field, okay, and using this field idea we will study this entire chapter of electromagnetism, okay. So field is the key thing, okay. Field will cause force, okay. So ultimately to our eye, between two particles which are interacting with one another, we see force, okay. So that force is either gravitational force, or it will be electric force, or it will be magnetic force, okay. So now that is your basic idea, okay. First you are supposed to know fields, okay. Fields are the most important thing that you are supposed to understand, okay. Next, now between two bodies, okay, to talk of force, okay, let us say there is some body 1, let us say there is one more body 2, okay. Now even for this charged particles, okay, if you are talking in terms of electromagnetic force, even for these bodies you will have action reaction pairs, okay. Newton's third law is valid. Now if body 1 applies force on 2 by 1 is this way, now similarly your force on 1 by 2 will be this way, okay. So if they are attracting, two bodies are attracting like this, okay, you cannot talk force on system, okay. You have to talk force on a body, okay. If you ask me what is the force on this body, then the language that I am using is correct. You should not talk of force in between. If you consider these two together as a system, net force is 0 because these two are equal and opposite in direction, okay. So while using the terminology, I want you to remember an important point, that is always talk of force on a body, okay. Next, field and potentials are defined at a point. Field and potentials are defined at a point, okay. You have to stress this, okay. You have to watch my language that I am using very carefully, okay. So you have to talk of force on a body, field and potential at a point, okay. And similarly your potential energy, okay, you have to look at difference, okay. We can only actually measure the potential energy difference between points, okay, between reference levels. What are these reference levels? I will talk about it later. Okay, indirectly in this chapter we will talk of potential energy of system. Okay, so what is this system, I will tell you later. Okay, now why am I talking this, I will tell you. Now remember, whenever you are using either electric force or magnetic force, an important point that I want you to keep in mind is between these two bodies, okay, any source, okay, an important point that I want to write here is that I want you to keep in mind is, okay, any source will not cause, okay, any source field I will write, okay, any source field will not cause force on itself. Okay, so what do I mean by that, I will tell you. Now if B1 is producing electric field and B2 is not producing electric field, that means indirectly this body is charged, this body is not at all charged. Now in this case, if you ask me, sir, is this electric force present between these two bodies, means, okay, your answer is, okay, I am telling you according to this point, if this produces electric field, because of charge it will produce electric field, but its own electric field cannot cause force on itself. If this is producing field, it cannot cause force on itself. Now if it is not causing force on itself, it should cause force on this body, but there is no charge to this. So without charge there will be no electric force. So here there is no electric force. For force to exist between two bodies, both bodies must have the capability to produce a similar kind of field. Now here if this produces electric field, this will also produce electric field, then what happens is this will produce, between these two bodies there will be electric force. Similarly, if this produces magnetic field and this will also produce magnetic field, then only there will be magnetic force between these two bodies. Okay, so ultimate conclusion is, for some electrical or magnetic interaction to happen between two bodies, both bodies must have similar kind of field producing capability for force to exist between them. Okay, so keep that point in mind very clearly, okay, because it is our basis for learning this chapter. Okay, so we'll study ultimately first 3 chapters, we'll study electric force, then followed by magnetic force. Okay, so you need to know when which kind of force is there. Now based on that I'll give examples. Okay, so let us take simple examples. Now let us say there is an electron at rest, one more electron is at rest. Now if I ask you what kind of force exists between these two, means my answer is this will produce electric field because this is charge. Okay, and this will also produce electric field, so obviously there is electric force. Okay, now this is not producing magnetic field, this is not producing magnetic field because charge is not in motion. Okay, so charge in motion will produce magnetic field. Okay, next, second, case 2, let us say an electron, it is at rest, let us say an electron, it is moving with some velocity v like this. Now in this case, if you ask me, this is producing electric field, this will produce electric field. Okay, now if this is, okay, it will not produce magnetic field, it is producing magnetic field. So here you have electric force between them, here you don't have magnetic force. Okay, now if you are thinking logically, there is an issue here. What is that? Okay, just think it for a minute. Just think there is an issue with what I am explaining here. There is some problem. What is that problem? Now for those of you who are thinking logically, okay, your motion is a relative term. Okay, so charge, if I say that electron is at rest, that electron is at rest with respect to whom? To a person who is standing here. Okay, and if he is at rest with respect to this electron, okay, at rest with respect to, you can say it as lab, okay, lab reference frame or K reference frame. So with respect to that fellow only, these two electrons will be at rest. Now if somebody is moving in a cart or a truck with some velocity v, then these two particles will not be at rest with respect to that person. Okay, getting my point? So my point is, okay, here my discussion is with respect to lab frame. That means you are standing on the lab and that too you are at rest, you are not moving. Okay, if there is some motion here, you have to use Lorentz transformations and then try to give the kind of force and explain it differently. Okay, but now I am telling you my discussion, unless until I mention certain things specifically, I am strictly referring to lab frame. That means I am at rest. Okay, right. Now the third case that I want to give is, now the third case that I have here is, let us say this electron is moving with some velocity v, one more electron is moving with some velocity v. Now in this case, what is the force means? Here you have electric field, here you have magnetic field. So you will have both electric force as well as magnetic force. Okay, next case 4. Now let us say a current carrying wire is there, it is carrying some current I like this. Now let us say an electron is at rest. Now you tell me, okay, what is the, okay, force, kind of force that is present here. Okay, now electric current means it is nothing but flow of charges. Now many people will think that because of charge there is electric field, but trust me, this current carrying wire will not produce electric field. Okay, why? Because across a cross section that you take, okay, charge flows but there is no net charge. Okay, charge flows but no net charge. Okay, so you cannot have, I mean, charge storing in that wire. Okay, charge keeps flowing but charge will not remain at that point, or I mean there is no net charge. If you take some cross section here, at that point there is no charge stored there. If charge starts storing, then automatically it will ionize the surrounding air and then obviously short circuits will happen. So but if you look at the electrical power supply to household ones, there is no coating on it. Why? Because this is the reason. Okay, if this is capable of producing, if there is some charge Q here, then automatically it will produce electric field E, and if it produces electric field gone, then it will ionize the air molecules. Air is basically an insulating material. So that insulating material will start to become, I mean your H2O molecules will become ions and it will start conducting, and around this wire obviously you will see lightning. So obviously you will get electric shocks and all if you are somewhere nearby also. So that is not the case. Your current carrying wire will never produce electric field, okay, unless and until there are certain conditions. Okay, but usually at low level, low voltage scales, I am clearly telling you this current carrying wire will not produce electric field. There is charge flowing inside the wire but there is no field. Okay, I mean there is no net charge. Okay, no net charge, no field. So there is no electric force in this case because one is producing field and other one is not producing field. Next, in the same case, okay, if you take magnetic field here, this produces magnetic field, this is not producing, so there is no magnetic force here either. Now one more case, case 5, if I take, if I have a current carrying wire like this, now if you have an electron that is moving with some speed v like this, now what happens in this case is there is no electric field here, there is electric field, there is magnetic field here, there is magnetic field. So here there is magnetic force but here there is no electric force. Okay, so often we keep talking of electric and magnetic forces. Okay, right. Now hope you have understood when which kind of force is present. Okay, now this way ultimately you see electromagnetic force. If there is no magnetic force, then it is only electric force. If there is no electric force, there will be magnetic force, but ultimately the force that you see is, okay, Lorentz force, which is combination of electric force as well as magnetic force. Q E bar cross B bar plus Q V bar cross B bar. This is your electromagnetic force. This part is your electric force component. This part is your magnetic force component. Okay, so you will see this electromagnetic force on the bodies. Okay, so depending upon reference frame, it could be both, it could be only one, it could be something else. Okay, so how and all we will see now. Okay, so with this introduction, hope you have understood what is meant by field, when there is electric force, when there is magnetic force. Okay, now this part is the introduction part which is required. Now we will start with electrostatics.